Damit kann ich sogar schneller als sein mit dem Bifrost.
Anyway, this is the Honda Civic. It is an icon of a car where people have done a lot of performance tuning, aftermarket tuning, and this right here is the 2022 Hatchback Sport. We're gonna be checking out this car today, and I really love the color of this car already. I'm Dave, and you're watching Imagine Autos. Before we get into this video, I just wanna thank our friends here at Route 22 Honda in Hillside, New Jersey for letting us borrow their cars for these reviews that you're watching today. The Civic Hatchback starts off at around just under 24 MSRP, and what we have here is around 25 MSRP. The highest trim, the Sports Touring, with the 180 horsepower engine will cost at least 30,000 MSRP. Let's look under the hood and see the performance.
ImagineAutos.com is the premier video-centric car shopping portal with over 1.5 million vehicles. When using the website or the app, you have access to video spotlights from our walk-around style footage of the exact car you're looking to purchase. Let's say you want to look at the conditions of the tires. All you have to do is click on the tire icon, and the video will jump ahead to show you the car's tires. ImagineAutos.com helps you imagine your next car today, and our app allows users to experience augmented reality of new cars. With this feature, you can place that new car in your driveway or out on the road. So head on over to ImagineAutos.com to see for yourself.
So the Civic Hatchback comes with two powertrain options. The one we have here, the Sport version, has a 2-liter, 158 horsepower engine with...
158, that's voll wenig.
And if you think the 158 is a little bit on the underpowered side, well, the Sports Touring version, the higher trims, have a 1.5 liter, although it's a small engine, with a turbocharger that produces 180 horsepower. So if you want a more powerful engine, you want to go with the higher trim. The gas mileage on this is going to be fairly decent at around 29, 33 miles to the gallon, while the turbocharged 1.5 liter engine actually has a better mileage rating. Now it does come with a 6-speed manual transmission, which I would prefer, but the one that we have here is an automatic transmission that uses a CVT. But it is better gas mileage, but maybe not as fun to drive, but we'll find out when we're doing a test drive on this. For this engine, we're probably only gonna get about 9 seconds in the 0 to 60 time, while the more powerful turbocharged engine will get you under 8 seconds. I do like the look of the Civic, and we're starting to see the design language across a lot of the Honda vehicles. They're starting to use this more geometric hexagon-shaped grills in a lot of their vehicles. So any vehicle that doesn't have this right now, I bet that the next redesign of that vehicle will probably be using this design language. Overall, this one, it's a little bit aggressive because you can see that it's angled up on the headlights here. I feel like this is more like an eyebrow that's sort of staring you down a little bit. But because it's kind of small, it's a little bit, dare I say, cute. It looks like there's space for a fog light for higher trims for the Civic. But overall, I do like the design language of this vehicle. Now, the side mirrors here is pretty big. I do like big side mirrors and not the small ones, so you can see very clearly what's around you. And one of my favorite things about this Civic right now is definitely the 18-inch black alloy wheels for the version of the hatchback that we have. It looks perfect. So the back of this Civic hatchback has a nice clean slope with a little spoiler lip. I like the rear splitter. It really adds a bit of aggressiveness to the look. And the trunk space, I'm actually surprised how big it is. So we can definitely clear that out to give you more space. But because it's a hatchback, we're definitely getting a lot more space than the standard Civic. And it is quite big, although it will be cramped if you close this thing on me. So with the seats down, this is actually quite a lot of space, although it's not very deep. So you're not gonna be able to lay down very well. But it is a decent amount of space if you got quite a lot of luggage, but I don't think it's gonna be comfortable for sleeping in the back of one of these. For the back seat, it's not too bad. It's definitely on the smaller side. I'm 5'9", and I can already kind of have a feel that there's a ceiling really close to my head. So I think if you are 6 feet or over, this is gonna be a little bit cramped. Back here is pretty much bare bones, but looks like we got space for bottles or cans. Windows, which is not automatic power windows. I can definitely feel that right there. I always think that should be just part of the basic trim, but probably 2 people back here will be fine. A third person in the middle is gonna be pretty cramped. So on the passenger side, it's set just right for me. With the head height, I think someone like Thor will probably fit in here without any issues. Let's look at the glove compartment. Yeah, a standard size, not too big, not too small, so you can put some items there. So here, the options at the driver's side door, we have all the basics, but it looks like only the automatic power windows is for the driver's side and the passenger side, but not in the back, which again, I always think that should be for all the windows as the basic trim. But other than that, everything is pretty much standard here. Nothing special around here. We don't have any compartments. The buttons, there's traction control, lights for your gauge, for the center console or the gauge cluster. But let's check out the rest of the interior. So here on the driver's side, the nice thing about it is that it comes with a keyless entry and keyless engine start, so that makes it feels very modern. The steering wheel, I think the Hondas have nice steering wheels. It's nice and thick. The feel of the leather on the steering wheel feels nice. We have all the standards that we see a lot in the vehicles these days. So we have our media control, our dash control system here. Here is the center console. The screen itself is actually quite small, although the console is pretty big for the infotainment system. But let's check it out. It's not very bright, so let's see if we can brighten up in the settings. So, display adjustment. Yes. Much better. Although that's actually not that bright. It was in night mode, that's why. Okay, because the screen is so small, it seems like some of the interaction is gonna be through these physical buttons to get around, and then you'd interact with the menus on the screen. So when moving around, it is quite quick, so that's good. Now, right here in the dashboard, it's this grill that goes right across the dashboard, and I like it. The vents are only here, so this is really just for show, but it looks really nice. Climate control system is all physical. We have a USB-A charging port, a 12 volt, 180 watt max charging port here, and a little space to put your phone, keys, or whatever here. Now, I like this part of the center console. When drinks are off to the side and not right here, like in some vehicles, when you're grabbing this shifter, especially since the armrest is so close in level to the shifting center console, that you're not gonna run into those bottles, because I've had drinks that were set here and you always run into them when it's bigger than a can, and that was so annoying. So I really like how they did this here. So there's gonna be shifting paddles. We're gonna be testing those out in the sports mode on our test drive. Let's start the engine and hear what it sounds like. I like the display size of the gauges in front of the steering wheel. Very large, but only the left side is digital while the right side is an analog speed gauge. But overall, very clean, very sleek. Looking out the back of the rear view, it looks like I have a decent view out back, but once someone sits anywhere in the back, it will eat up a lot of the view back there. The texture plastic here and the door, everything actually feels like it's a really good build quality. So I'm really happy with that here in the Civic. Now the view of the windshield out of this car actually is quite nice. This is quite large, so you have a really good field of view, which I'm very happy with. It's time for a test drive. All right, so if you're gonna get a Civic, one of the things about getting a car like this is gonna be how it feels to drive. It's supposed to be really good. So I'm in sports mode, setting up into gear 1 to get onto this highway. Let's see how well this CVT transmission handles the acceleration. So we're supposed to be able to accelerate in about 9 seconds. So I'm using the paddle shifting to accelerate, I mean, it feels fast, but I don't think it was as fast as it felt though. But it was nice. It was a very smooth acceleration. That's probably because of the CVT. The CVT transmission is trying to keep your power band at the ideal place for the engine. So it was a smooth acceleration once you hit the ideal RPM. The feel of the steering wheel itself does feel really nice. It's very responsive to my steering. Here's a tight right turn with a lot of bumps on the road. Oh yeah, well, the suspension, you do feel the bumps a lot more than obviously a bigger, softer car or an SUV. But it's quite peppy. Like when I press the gas, although it doesn't accelerate super fast, that initial acceleration feels quite peppy. But once it gets up to speed, I think it's fine. I can already tell that if we're on the highway going at 70 miles an hour, that we're gonna hear a lot of cabin noise just from the wind and outside noises. But it's a very light and nimble car. It feels very nice driving it. Definitely a lot of road noise right now compared to other vehicles. I have to talk louder just to hear myself, that's for sure. But it also depends on the asphalt you're driving on. So this section, not so bad, but when it was a more gravelly, rough surface, you hear a lot more of the noise going through the car. I think because it's such a light car, the braking is very responsive, very quick. No problem stopping if I need to. On the corners, it feels very grounded. Doesn't feel like it's leaning much at all compared to other vehicles that we've driven. Overall, I do like the feel of this car when driving around. It's a little noisier than a Corolla, but I think it drives and handles a lot better than the Corolla that we tested the other day. The Honda Civic Hatchback is a really fun car to drive, but I definitely recommend that you go for the manual if you know how to drive a stick, and go for the higher trim with the powerful 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Quite a compelling and fun car to drive, so maybe check it out.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.